What is the kernel in an operating system? Imagine your computer is a busy city with many roads, buildings, and people all needing to work together smoothly. The kernel is like the city's traffic controller, making sure everything runs without chaos. It is the core part of the operating system that connects the hardware and software. Without it, your computer cannot function properly. The kernel manages the computer's brain, which is the central processing unit, or CPU. It decides which program gets to use the CPU and when. This process is called process management. It creates, schedules, and stops programs so they run smoothly without crashing into each other. When your computer runs many programs at once, the kernel keeps track of all of them. Memory management is another key job of the kernel. It allocates space in the computer's memory for each program. It also makes sure programs do not interfere with each other's memory. If there is not enough memory, the kernel uses virtual memory, which temporarily uses part of the storage drive as extra memory. The kernel also controls hardware devices like keyboards, mice, disks, and network cards. It uses device drivers, which are small programs that help the kernel communicate with these devices. This way, your keyboard can send input, and your computer can read and write files on the disk. File system management is part of what the kernel does too. It organizes files and folders so programs can access them easily. It makes sure files are stored safely and can be retrieved quickly. Resources such as disk space, network bandwidth, and CPU time are limited. The kernel decides how to share these resources fairly among all running programs. If one program hogs the resources, the kernel can limit it or pause it. Security is another vital function. The kernel enforces user permissions and authentication. It makes sure only authorized users can access certain files or perform specific actions. This helps keep your data safe from unauthorized access. Interprocess communication allows programs to talk to each other safely. The kernel provides mechanisms for this, which helps programs coordinate tasks without conflicts. The kernel runs in a protected mode called kernel mode. This mode gives it unrestricted access to hardware. Regular programs run in user mode, which limits their access to hardware and makes the system more stable. When a program needs to do something hardware-related, it makes a system call to the kernel. The kernel then performs the task and sends back the result. When your computer starts up, the kernel loads into a protected area called kernel space. It stays there while the system runs. If the kernel fails to load or gets corrupted, the entire system can crash or become unresponsive. Different operating systems use different types of kernels. Some use monolithic kernels, where most services run in kernel space. Others use microkernels, which keep only essential services in kernel space and run others in user space. Knowing what the kernel does is important for troubleshooting common errors. Many issues like system crashes or device problems come from kernel-level faults. For example, a kernel panic, which is a serious error, often points to a problem with device drivers or memory management. In short, the kernel is the heart of an operating system. It manages hardware resources, enables safe communication between hardware and software, and helps keep the system stable and secure. Its design influences how well your computer performs and how reliable it is during everyday use.